Red Flags of Emotional Repression, Part 15, Mistrust. Whether it's the inability to trust ourselves or other people, mistrust is one of the main indicators that we're repressing buried emotions from childhood in our bodies, and here's why. The way that kids generally cope with persistent stressful situations, like being raised by traumatized and repressed caregivers in a traumatized and repressed culture, is by pushing down certain feelings. Because these feelings feel like too much. I mean, I can remember being 5 or 6 years old, and because of the dysfunction in my family, making the decision, whatever this is that's going on down here, this suffering, I'm done. I'm not going to feel anything from the neck down. But what I didn't realize was that in doing so, I was denying my own emotional reality, and all in an effort to stay safe. Denying my reality because when you don't know how you feel about things, not only can you not trust yourself or your world or the people in it, but you don't know who you are. But when you don't know who you are, you still have to function in the world. And so you're forced to sort of create who you are. So, and this is important, because I, as a kid, had primarily repressed anger, which means I don't like anger. I'm scared of it. I was drawn to people who were kinder and gentler and nicer. And I thought, I'm going to be like that. I was creating my sense of self, some people call this the ego, in a way that would ensure that I didn't have to know, access, feel, or express what I had buried in my body. And this started so early and went on for so long that I didn't even have the awareness that I was pretending. I thought, this is literally who I am. Now, imagine how much pretending for decades erases the ability to trust yourself. And then couple that with the fact that the majority of other people are also in varying degrees of emotional repression and pretense. So can't trust them either. Can't trust anything. And I can't trust anything for a very specific reason. Because if I did, I might get angry. And in the voice of my emotional repression, that is not okay. To my egoic self, it's safer to suffer in pretense and in mistrust than it is to access my buried emotions and finally be myself. But that, like every other belief the ego holds, is a false belief. The truth is, when I do the work necessary to reverse and resolve emotional repression, I'm safer than I've ever been in my life because I'm me again. I'm my full self. And this might sound wild, but at this point, trust and mistrust kind of become irrelevant concepts. Think of a 1-year-old and how free they are and how they don't really need to trust or mistrust people, right? They're just themselves because they're not in emotional repression yet. So if this sounds appealing to you and you'd like to get over your obsession with trust and mistrust, visit repressiontest.com.